Once you get to your seat, you can close your eyes, you can shift and reshift and find a tall spine. After all of the activity of the morning, start to feel all of the layers stack into each other. Sometimes it feels like our energy is way out here. So as we sit here with the eyes closed, to bring it in a little bit, we come to our senses. So feeling the air on the skin, feeling the ground underneath you. Feeling the breath entering and leaving the nostrils. Maybe there's sounds nearby or in the distance. Maybe there's a smell of coffee lingering in the air at home, or tea, or breakfast. By tapping into these senses, all the thoughts, the plans, the to-do list start to take the back burner. And if they're still there, don't worry, that's natural. You just keep coming back, keep bringing the focus back to breath and body. As always, we move with our pain-free range of motion, which means if there's any shooting or tingling pains, if there's any numbness of the extremities, or if it feels like you're being compressed in places, then again, you go back a step, you reset, and you choose a position that works for you. However, the same goes with challenge. If your body's feeling like it wants to go a little deeper, a little further, if there's that little spark inside, that fire that wants you to intensify or try something new, go for it. You're at home. If you fall, it's okay. Just be careful. So my theme this week has been hope. And today we're going to focus on how moving from beyond the thoughts and feelings, from moving from the heart, from ourselves, how that can help lead us to light. What I mean by this is that going back to that Nelson Mandela quote that I still can't get right, even though I've repeated it so many times this week. But if we're making choices with hope in mind and not with our fears, and then that's what we're aiming for, both on the mat and off the mat, especially off the mat. Even though those fears can be programmed from a long time ago, We see them as another layer. And at the heart of it all is our own light. So on our mat today, we're going to lead with our hearts, both literally and figuratively. So listen to those messages of the body. You can slowly open your eyes, and 3 times we're going to reach our arms wide. Come all the way up into a nice stretch. Exhale, hands to the heart center, thumbs at the heart. Inhale again. Linking breath and movement, embodying ourselves here. And last time. Pause with the thumbs at the heart center. Bow to yourself, perhaps at your own intention. And then you can interlace the fingers in front of the heart. As we exhale, we're going to press the palms out in front of us and curl through the back body. As we inhale, we bring the arms up above. Let's do that 3 more times. Curl it out, get into the shoulders and the spine. And inhale, reach. You can rock back and forth on your pelvis a little bit if you're seated, cross-legged. And last time, hold the hands up there. And now let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Bring the shoulder blades onto the back body. Make sure those ribs are contained, especially when we're doing shoulder stuff, chest openers, things like that. We tend to spill out through the front body, and then we start to compress the spine. So draw those ribs in, activate the core. And then if those arms won't come up close to the ears, they can be out at an angle a little bit. As long as you've got a nice long neck, a solid core, and you're trying to keep those shoulder blades on the back. Now we're gonna bend the elbows out to the side, tap the top of the head, and then press back up. And do that 3 more times. Exhale, press. Inhale, bend. And there might be some cricks and cracks. And one last time. Beautiful. Release the fingers, come out into a Y shape. And again, those shoulders may have creeped up. Let them fall down away from the ears. Imagine the shoulder blades behind the back of the heart, lifting it from the behind. And then again, ribs draw down. We activate the core. Let's bring the arms out to a T, palms facing up. And remember, we're always working on reaching up through the fingertips, but that doesn't mean disintegrating our limbs from our center of the body. So we want to always hold that core line. So plug the right shoulder in, plug the left shoulder in. Imagine those shoulder blades behind the heart again. And then let them fall down the back. Beautiful. Now we're going to come into our seaweed arms, that I usually call it, or maybe belly dancing arms. Just bend the elbows slightly, and we're starting to rotate the bone in the socket. So the humerus, that big arm bone, we're just trying to rotate it in the shoulder socket as much as possible, finding your own range of motion. And we do it left and right, alternating. You could start to bring your body into it. Start to use the ribs, the intercostal muscles there. You can start to use the waist. You can start to dance. And if your shoulders are starting to feel it, Mine are too. You're not alone. Yesterday we did quite a bit of butt, and so we're going to switch it up today and get into the heart, the chest, the shoulders, the back. Let's do one more time to each side and resist the urge to let those arms just flop down. Reach them out. Inhale all the way up. And now 4 times coming down into cactus arms, keeping those shoulders on the back and pressing back up. Nice. We're just waking it up. Should feel good for those sleepy necks and shoulders. 2 more. Beautiful. And now you can bring the arms back behind you. Either take a hold of the forearms or the elbows and let yourself fall forward for a moment. Head towards the earth. Come all the way up. And for balance sake, maybe you cross the legs the other way. Maybe you cross the arms the other way. And we do it one more time. And then come all the way up. Nice work. So we're ready to start getting into other parts of the body. Come up off your seat, come over onto hands and knees. Hands set under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And 5 times we'll do cats and cows. So as we inhale, we open the front body. As we exhale, we open the back body. And just start to use this movement to wake up the spine, to continue linking that breath to movement. Because the breath is going to be one of the main messengers through the practice. When it starts to be held, it usually means we're not necessarily listening to our body's cues. We've moved a little too far. We're too much in our head. After this last round, we're going to come back to neutral, come down onto the elbows. You have 2 options here. You can stay on the knees because we're really just trying to work into another plane of motion in the shoulders, shifting back and forth. If you're ready, you can curl the toes under and bring those hips up behind you into a dolphin. And then keeping the shoulders on the back, the head and neck loose, we inhale and shift forward, nose towards the thumbs, and exhale back. So you could be doing this on knees or on toes. We're going to do 4 more of those. Inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you shift back. If there's any pinching through the shoulders, decrease your range of motion or come down onto your knees. And then one last one. Beautiful. And then walk those feet back a little more. For our first forearm plank, we're going to do our twist in the forearm plank here. So you could be on knees or toes again. And then we're going to dip the hips over to the right, come up and over like a rainbow through the center, and then to the left. So getting into the core a little bit, getting some twisting action going, and continuing to wake up those shoulders. Let's go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Drop the knees down, plant the hands, come back into a child's pose, knees apart, toes together. So throughout our first flows, I'll say recovery pose. Recovery pose can be downward facing dog. It can be puppy pose with the knees under the hips and the arms outstretched. Or it could be child's pose if you feel like you need more grounding throughout. So everybody come into that down dog. The first down dog, of the class, maybe not of the day. I don't know what you've been doing all morning. And you can start to walk your knees. Beautiful. And now, before we come to standing, we're going to do one more activation. We're going to inhale, come forward into our straight arm plank, and exhale, hips back. Now again, if this isn't working for you, we can do that from hands and knees to coming from puppy into a plank on the knees. Let's do 3 more. So just getting to know your own range of motion in your shoulders, and make sure every single finger, every single knuckle is working. That'll take some pressure off the wrists. And then slowly start to walk the feet up towards the hands. Come into a forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to here. Let the head and neck drop. Shake it out. So in all of our forward folds today too, bend the knees as much as you need to relieve the strain from the low back. Sometimes the tight hamstrings can feed up and just strain the low back even more in forward folds. And that's not really what we're trying to do with yoga, is bring more stress to the body. Eventually, as we open up through the back body, those legs can straighten, but it's not worth the back pain. Slowly start to come all the way up to standing. And find your grounding here. Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, fold forward. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale down. And one last time. Initiating our standing practice. Exhale, fold all the way down. Fingertips to the earth. We're going to step back with the left leg right away here and start to wake up our hips and legs. So for the first one, we're bringing that knee down onto the earth. I think I said left knee, but that's okay. Left knee down onto the earth. And then bring the hands to the lower back so that the heels of your hands are kind of resting on the ridge of your hips, and bring yourself all the way up. You could support yourself on your front thigh too. Now everybody's going to draw those elbows together behind you and open the heart. Notice if the ribs have spilled out through the front, draw them down with your core. And then let's inhale and come out of that pose a little. You might need extra padding under that back knee. Exhale, almost like you're pressing the hips forward and down with your hands, sink forward. Inhale, draw those legs towards each other like scissors, and then exhale, let the pelvis come forward. 2 more. Now try to keep the bent knee in the front, the hip back in line with the other. After this last one, hold it down here. Press down through the hips and sprout up through the heart. Tilt the chin up slightly. And as if there's a string at the center of the heart, let it blossom up towards the sky. Beautiful. And then release the hands to the earth. Pick up that back knee, step back into a plank pose, whatever that means to you. So it might be on hands and toes, it might be on elbows and knees, or anything in between. We go through our little body scan here, making sure the head and the neck are in line with the spine. The face is soft, the eyes aren't burning a hole into the ground. The shoulders are strong and on the back, but the back of that heart is soft. Every single finger, every single knuckle is planted into the earth. The ribs are drawing down towards the pelvis. The lower abdomen is active and happy. The thigh muscles are pulled onto the bone, active, and the heels are pressing back. If your toes are curled under, every single toe is spread. Maybe not that pinky, Beautiful, drop the knees down. We're doing 3 shoulder flows. Shoulder flows, we come back on the exhale, and as we inhale, we pull our nose forward along the mat, keeping the hips high to about the thumbs, and then we press back up to hands and knees. Exhale, we curl back. Inhale, almost feel that humerus bone again, hugging into the shoulder socket, getting activated. And one more. Feel all the cricks and cracks of the morning or afternoon in Ontario come all the way down. Beautiful. So first set of heart openers here, we're actually going to come into Sphinx. So elbows underneath the shoulders. Everything from the pubic bone down is grounded. Tops of the feet, our toes are active. And then you're going to just let everything melt into the earth. Look down towards the belly button. As you inhale, imagine pulling your elbows towards you and your heart through your arms. So your arms are active. Imagine tractioning your spine with the strength of your arms, making the spaces between the vertebrae even bigger. And then exhale, release. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Get nice and long. Exhale. Now, if it's too much still on your spine, you start to walk those elbows further forward, just to decrease that curve. And then once you've gotten into Sphinx one last time, hold it up there. And it's active. This isn't a passive pose. The elbows and the forearms and the hands are dragging towards me on the mat, almost as if I could pull myself further forward, but my legs are anchoring me down. Collarbones are wide, neck is free and long, face is soft, and then we come all the way down. Wiggle it out, hands under the shoulders, curl the toes under, and come into your recovery pose. So down dog, puppy, or child's. Body starting to wake up. So if you did step that left leg back last time, this time you're going to step the left leg forward. It may take 1 step, it may take 2, may take many. That's okay. Foot between the hands, back knee comes down, hands come to the crest of the hips, come all the way up into our low lunge again. Draw those elbows towards each other, expose the heart. Inhale, come out of the pose, exhale, sink a little deeper. Now that front knee is never coming far beyond the ankle, stays above the ankle, but the pelvis is trying to melt downwards and forwards. You may need to widen the stance if needed. 1 more time. And then we hold that low lunge, drawing the elbows towards each other, lifting the heart up to the sky. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Plant the fingertips on the earth, pick up that back knee. This time step forward to a forward fold and release. Bend the knees nice and deep, feet are parallel. Coming into chair pose, Utkatasana. Thumbs to the heart center to begin with. Lots of weight in the heels. And those ribs are drawing down. The lower abdomen is awake and alive. Maybe you come along with me and we get our heart rates up a little bit. Reach the arms out front. On the exhale, we sweep them back like wings. On the inhale, we reach them forward. Maybe we add a little bit of a bounce to it. So try to get a little bit deeper each time and discover the range of motion of your shoulders here for 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up, stand tall, and fold forward. Nice work. Look up halfway, lengthen, hands on shins or thighs. And exhale, fingertips to the earth. And this time, step the right leg back behind you. Nice. So we're gonna walk that right hand to the right a little bit, lean into the right hand. Left hand comes to the left hip, and we turn to the left. Both shoulder blades hug the heart from behind. If that back knee is up, we strengthen up that back leg, or we could bring that back knee down. Maybe you reach that left arm up to the sky. And then come back to center. Now you can try out a high lunge or stay in low lunge, but support yourself or come all the way up with the body. Beautiful. You might stay with hands on hips, maybe hands at heart. Maybe they're ready to reach up. Back leg is strong, powerful. Front knee keeps bending forward. If you want to go a little bit further, you can take that right wrist with the left hand and arc a little bit over to the left. Challenge your balance. And then back to center, hands plant to the floor, your plank pose. Nice work. So this time we're all going to come down onto our knees for a moment, come down onto the elbows, and then maybe forearm plank with the knees off the ground, maybe on the ground. And we hold here and we scan the body again. Head and neck in line with the spine, face soft, shoulders strong, heart soft, forearm and knife edge of the hand pressing into the earth, ribs down, lower abdomen up, thighs are strong, heels pressing back. Nice. Now bring the palms to the earth. Flip the feet over so you're on the tops of the feet. Maybe you can hold there and then slowly start to let that pelvis come down again. If your elbows are too close in, you walk them away from you. And we go into Sphinx pose again. Draw the heart forward. You might want to go further. If you can maintain an open collarbone, no compression in the spine, and no shrugging of the shoulders, you can bring the hands out to the side and start to press into the hands, straightening the elbows for seal. However, if that means you have to sacrifice the openness of your heart or your breath, then you come down. You're still pulling yourself forward, even if those arms are straight. It's a lot of work. And then come all the way down. Beautiful. Shake it out and then recovery pose. Beautiful. So now that right foot needs to make its way between the hands. Left knee stays off or on the ground. We walk the left hand to the left, right hand to the pelvis, lean onto the left hand, twist. Maybe that right arm comes up and reaches both shoulder blades. Really think about that left one. It may be rolling forward. Draw it back, strengthen up the core, and then come back to center. Hands can support you or your body floats up. High lunge. Always an option to bring that back knee down. Choose your arm position. And if you want to take it further, you take the left wrist with the right hand and start to arc over to the right. Strengthen that back leg. And then come back to center. Fingertips to the earth, step forward and fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Utkatasana, set 2. Come to the hands at the heart. Check your toes. Can you see the color of your mat or floor between your toes? I know some are more stubborn than the others. Spread those feet wide, wake up the arches, sit a little deeper, make sure the knees are tracking right to the centers of the feet. And then maybe the arms come out front, like you're accepting a gift. Maybe they start to trace an arc, but as long as the shoulders can stay away from the ears, and you can still breathe. For 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up to standing and fold forward. Hands to shins or thighs. Look up halfway, lengthen. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, fingertips on the earth. Left leg steps back behind you. Nice work. All right, this time that left heel is going to spin down to the earth. Both hands are going to come to the inner edge of that right foot and start to walk away from you. So it's on a diagonal line up towards the upper left corner of the mat. You can let the buttocks stick out behind you, ground into all 4 corners of both feet, but especially the outer edge of that back foot and the front toe mound, the big toe mound of the front foot. Let the head and neck go here. Supported humble warrior. Beautiful. Now walk the hands back in towards that right foot. Right elbow on the right thigh. Open up to the side. You're looking at my back. Same difference. Side angle pose, Parshvanottanasana. That back leg stays powerful and strong. The front knee is pressing right so that it's not caving into the center. And from that strong, stable base, we're opening the heart up to the side wall. Everybody's going to take that left hand, bring it behind the back of the neck, and just let the head and neck be supported by that hand. If you can, elbow starts to spin up towards the sky. Bend that front knee. Breathe. And then release all the way down. And step back to your plank. Beautiful. This time with knees up or down, bend the elbows behind you, slowly come down towards the earth. And then flip the feet over. So now we're ready to start going into more of our Cobra variations. To start with, hands under the shoulders or closer to the ribs. Draw those elbows in, widen the collarbones, bring the shoulder blades behind the heart, and start to draw your heart forward on your mat. Pelvis stays on the floor, tops of the thighs, tops of the feet. This may be your Cobra. Maybe you start to press into the finger pads, into the knuckle pads a little more as you lift, but not if that means sacrificing your collarbones, your wide open heart, your open and loose neck, your smile, your breath. Bhujangasana. Come all the way down and recovery pose. Nice. Left foot steps between the hands, however it gets there. Once you've got that 90-degree angle of the front leg, spin that right heel down to the earth. Both hands come to the inside edge of the left foot and they walk diagonally away from us. We can stick our buttocks out behind us, plant into all 4 corners of both feet. I like to pick up my toes and spread them again to remind them that they're there, and then release the head and the neck. Start to walk the hands back towards that left foot Scoop that left hip under to get the left elbow onto the left thigh. Back leg is strong. We spin the heart open to the side. Right hand comes behind the back of the head. We lean back a little bit into that hand. Let the back of the head and the neck be supported. And maybe we start to turn that elbow up to the sky. Beautiful. Release the hands down. Come onto those back toes and step forward, forward fold. Third set of chair Utkatasana, yogi's choice. Wherever your hands feel the most life-affirming, we stay here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up and exhale, fold forward. Look up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fingertips to the earth. Step back with that right leg. Spin the right heel down. This time coming up into our warrior 2 pose. Virabhadrasana 2. Come out of the pose a little bit to really power up that back leg. And from that anchor, we bend the left knee so that it's almost like we've got an elastic band anchored down at the back, and we're pulling away from there with the strength of the front leg. Arms open like wings, gaze to the front. Keep pressing that left knee to the left. Keep your eyes on your core, like your internal eyes. Beautiful. Now, we're either going to take the elbows behind us again, or interlace the fingers, or you can come back to supported humble warrior. But either way, maybe we open up that chest and dive diagonally towards that upper right corner of the mat. The left shoulder comes to the inner left knee, and we let the head and the neck go. Arms are trying to come up and over, or we're just holding on to forearms. Either way, chest is open. Beautiful. Release the hands down. Step back to your plank. Come down to your abdomen. Flip the feet over. Draw the elbows in. Come into your version of Cobra. Pressing into all fingertips, all knuckle pads, and pulling that heart forward. Imagine a string of beads along the spine, and we want to keep each one evenly spaced. Come all the way down, and recovery. The last leg of this little journey, bringing the right foot between the hands, spinning the left heel down, coming all the way up into warrior 2. Come out of the pose a little bit, reset the feet, anchor that back leg, and bend the front knee away from it. Press the right knee to the right, scoop that right hip under, arms out to the side, gaze to the front. Ribs are drawing down, lower abdomen is in. It's lifting. It's active. And now you're going to bring your arms behind you. Take whatever was not natural for you, so whatever you didn't do last time. So you might always cross left arm over right, right over left this time. Same thing with interlace. Maybe the right thumb's always on top, this time left thumb on top. Open the chest, get nice and open and wide. Exhale, dive right shoulder to the inside edge of that right leg. Release the head and the neck. Keep the legs strong. And let that upper body melt. Be humble. And then release the hands, spin onto those back toes. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, fold. We're going to come all the way up to standing, reaching tall. Exhale, release into Tadasana, mountain pose. Beautiful. So we're coming into a balance pose here. If you have a wall nearby, you might want to use the wall. I'm just going to fix my camera here, because we'll do 2 sets on each leg. So maybe the first set you use a wall and then the second set you don't. Or you can challenge yourself both times. We're going to shift the weight onto the left leg, bend the right knee, and take that right foot or ankle behind you. Now notice here, at first your knee will be in front of the hip. And so we're going to slowly, first step is just bringing that knee back in line with the hip. Take the shoulders on the back. This might be your pose. Maybe you want to go a little further and you start to press the foot into the hand behind you, just opening that bow shape. Your left hand can be on the hip. If you want to go a little further, it could reach up, or maybe it's still hanging onto a wall. If you can go further yet, that leg starts to reach up behind you. Your heart stays facing forward, dancer's pose. We don't need to lean forward this time. Just get that upper body stretch or that front body stretch. And then slowly release. And let go of whatever happened on the first side and go to the second side. Weight into the right leg. Bend the left knee. Now, if you can't get that foot, this is where a tea towel or a belt might come in handy too. If you can get it, but the knee has to stay out in front, that's okay too. We work on just bringing that knee back in line, and that's it. And then maybe we start to press the foot into the hand. Maybe the right arm comes up. Maybe we start to lift that leg behind us. No tilting forward yet. And then release and shake it out. Beautiful. We're going to do one more time. So, coming on to that left foot again. You know the drill. Sometimes I like to take the inside edge if I know I'm going to go a little farther, and you'll see why. The inside edge of that back foot. And then I bring the knee back. I maybe reach the arm up. I start to press the foot into the hand, keeping my body upright. And then as that leg lifts, perhaps now you can slightly tilt forward. Look up. And then release. Beautiful. Last leg of this dancer's journey. You may still be using the wall. That's cool too. Take that left foot with the left hand. Bring it back in line with the hip. Arm reaches up. This is a good place to be. Maybe it starts to press into the hand. Also a good place to be. Maybe it starts to lift as you slightly tilt forward. Also great. Maybe you lose your balance like me. And then release. Nice work. Come back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Close your eyes. Come to your breath. Come to the front of the mat. Reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway, lengthen. And exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, drop the knees, child's pose. Knees apart, toes together, hips back towards the heels. Feel the energy in your body. The openness of the front body. The activation in the shoulders. The lightness of heart. Slowly come on up and come down to your abdomen. We're going to do an interesting twist here called broken wing pose. We reach the right arm out beside us. Sorry, just checking. Great. We reach that right arm out beside us. We turn our head to the left. Come onto the left fingertips like a little tent. Pick up that left leg, reach it over to the right. And you might just hang out here. You're rolling over onto the left side, onto the right side of the face, the right hip. You might bend that left knee and bring the left foot towards the floor. You might even take that left arm behind you. Some of us, not me, could perhaps take the right hand with the left hand. And then we come back to center. We wiggle it out. And then reach out through that left arm, come onto the right fingertips. Pick up that right leg, reach it over to the left, rolling onto the left side of the face, the shoulder, the hip. It may stay there suspended. You may bend the left knee, right knee, bring the right foot to the floor. You may bring that right arm behind you. Beautiful. And then slowly come back to center. Wiggle it out. Press yourself all the way up. And meet me on your knees. One last heart opener here. So remember that first position in the lunge where we had the heels of the hand on the crest of the hips. So we're going to come back to that. We're going to draw those elbows towards each other, draw those ribs in, and just get long through the spine, through the top of the head. So there's a nice long line from the knees up. This may be great. Nice open heart, collarbone. If you'd like to go further, we start to press the hips forward, keeping that line from the knees to the hips, but starting to lift up through that string at the center of the heart. And this may be good. If you're feeling okay, if your neck doesn't mind, you could start to tip the head back. If that brings on anxiety, just keep that chin tucked in. That's okay. We're gonna do one more round, so you could go further next round if you need to. Camel pose. Inhale, draw that chin in if it wasn't already, and then take the body back up to neutral and just sit back down on your heels for a moment. Close your eyes, ground. We get to do one more round of camel ustrasana. So slowly come up onto those knees. Take the hand position. You can use those heels of the hand to ground yourself from the pelvis down. And then imagine lengthening up through the spine from the pelvis up, arcing up and over, lifting that heart from behind with the shoulder blades. If you want to go further, you could always take one hand to one heel and reach the other one up to the sky. And then you could alternate, take the other hand to the other heel and reach the opposite arm up to the sky. If it's in your practice and you want to bring both hands to both heels, you can do so. But again, not if it feels like compression, not if you start to lose that openness of the heart. And then slowly release. Come back down to your heels. This time curl up into a little ball for rabbit. If you want to take the heels with the hands and start to roll onto the top of the head, lifting the hips, you'll get a nice upper back stretch as well. And then slowly release. Beautiful work. Slowly come to your back. Take the knees and the hands and rock side to side. Massage out the muscles around the sacrum. The glutes, especially that gluteus minimus up at the top there, and the medius. And then place the feet on the earth. Take the feet hip width apart, lift up the hips, and shift them over to the left as your knees fall to the right. You may stay there. You may hook that right heel onto the left knee, pinning it down. You might even take that left arm up overhead and get a nice long stretch. And then come back to center. Reset the hips. Pick them up, shift them to the right, let the knees fall to the left. You might hook the left heel onto the right knee. You may even bring that right arm overhead on the floor. And then come back to center. Bring the knees in again, bring the feet up towards the sky. Take the outer edges of the feet into happy baby and just rock side to side if you need to. Keep directing the sit bones away from you to lengthen through the spine and really isolate the stretch in those hip joints. And then slowly release. If there's anything else you need to do, let it move through your body before final relaxation. And then find your place. Maybe it's laying down in a traditional shavasana on the mat, palms up. Maybe it's with the legs at the wall. Maybe it's on the side or the front, or even up in a meditative seat. Wherever you are, close your eyes. After moving through a practice, embodying and re-embodying, we develop a deeper relationship with ourselves, with a capital S, and all layers, by checking back in with our senses, with the messages from the body over and over. We're letting the body know we're listening. The more we listen, the more it will talk. Can we move through our practice fully embodied, away from the hustle, bustle activity, the mental layers? And when we step off the mat, can we spend more time leading from ourselves, from our heart, making choices out of hope and not fear? I hope you can go out into the rest of your day, heart open, leading from the center. You can stay here in Shavasana in final relaxation for as long as you possibly can, as long as your schedule will allow. And if you have any questions or concerns, I'm always here to message. I'll get back to you. I thank you all so much, and I hope you thank yourselves. Namaste.